Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling the incredible story of one of sport's greatest dynasties, the West Indies cricket team. We're going to look at their unbelievable rise as a symbol of cultural power, and then their painful, really complex fall. So, let's kick things off with a single, infamous quote. Back in 1976, England's captain Tony Greig dropped this line just before a big series against the West Indies. He had absolutely no idea that those words were about to light a fire that would define cricket for the next 20 years. And that fire, it led to this. Just look at the difference. On the left, you've got a global superpower, back-to-back world champions. And on the right, a team that couldn't even qualify for the 2023 World Cup. So the big question we're asking today is, how did one of the greatest dynasties in sports fall so far? To really get the fall, you first have to understand why their rise was so incredibly important. Because for the West Indies, you see, cricket was never, ever just a game. Okay, first things first, you've got to get this one crucial detail. The West Indies isn't a country. It's this unique team, a confederation of 15 different nations and territories. This idea of a single collective identity is everything. It's the key to this whole story.
So the sport first showed up in the Caribbean as a tool of the British Empire. It wasn't just for fun. It was used to draw a line in the sand, to create a clear social and racial divide. It was a game designed to remind everyone who was in charge.
But then, the game was reclaimed. As the historian Hilary Beckles so powerfully puts it, it was socialized in the fiery cauldron of colonial oppression. By the 1970s, with all these post-colonial movements gaining steam, the West Indies team turned cricket from a symbol of their oppression into a weapon of their resistance. Which brings us right back to that grovel comment. The team, led by the legendary Clive Lloyd, responded on the field with absolute fire. They unleashed this terrifying group of 4 fast bowlers, Michael Holding, Andy Roberts, Joel Garner, and Colin Croft, who didn't just beat England, they physically intimidated and dismantled them. They won 3-0, and that victory wasn't just about cricket. No, it was a political statement that kicked off 2 decades of undisputed global dominance.
So if they were this powerful, this unified, what on earth happened to that force that took over the world? Well, the answer is complicated, and it's something that has been building for decades.
You see, the decline wasn't some sudden collapse. It was more like a slow erosion. As that shared struggle against colonialism started to fade, so did the collective West Indian identity that cricket represented. Individual national pride, especially in places like Jamaica with its track and field superstars, began to take over. So here's the bottom line. As these individual nations got stronger on their own, that shared cause that cricket symbolized just started to, well, fade away. And with it went the funding, the public interest, and the entire system needed to create the next generation of world-class players. And for a new generation, cricket just wasn't the biggest thing anymore. It lost its cultural relevance. Sports like football and basketball felt more global, more modern. They seemed to offer a clearer path to international fame and, let's be honest, a lot more money. The game just wasn't the dream it used to be. Okay, so you've got this huge cultural shift happening inside the Caribbean. But at the exact same time, the sport of cricket itself was going through a massive global transformation. That traditional 5-day test match, the slow, strategic game that the West Indies had absolutely mastered, was being challenged by a new, explosive format, T20 cricket. It's way faster, it's shorter, and it's basically designed for TV. The focus shifted from national pride to pure, non-stop entertainment. And what was driving all this change? Well, you guessed it, money. Cricket was basically fed into a machine and turned from this cultural institution into a commercial media product. It became a business, driven by TV rights, sponsorships, and these brand new, very lucrative franchise leagues. And this created a massive conflict for the players. Imagine you have a choice. You can dedicate yourself to playing for the West Indies for pretty modest pay, or you could earn life-changing money playing for some franchise in a T20 league. That choice between national duty and your financial future got harder and harder to make. But just when the whole story seemed to be about irreversible decline, a single incredible performance reminded the world of the spirit that once made this team so great. A new chapter was about to be written. This is Shamar Joseph, a total newcomer from a small village in Guyana, making his debut against one of the most dominant teams in the world, on their home turf. What he did next? Well, It captured the attention of the entire cricketing world.
In a performance that people will talk about for ages, he single-handedly ripped through the Australian batting lineup. He took an incredible 7 wickets and secured a historic, almost unthinkable victory for the West Indies, their first win in Australia in 27 years. Just wow!
And here's the craziest part, the thing that makes this story legendary. He did all of this after a cricket ball had literally broken his toe. The doctors told him he might not even be able to walk, let alone bowl at 140 kilometers an hour. So why? Why push through that kind of pain? Well, listen to his own words. It wasn't about a contract or personal glory. He said he did it for his team and for the people of the Caribbean. It was this powerful, unbelievable echo of that old West Indian spirit, a fight for something way bigger than himself. And that leaves us with the ultimate question. Was Shamar Joseph's incredible performance a sign of a real comeback for West Indies cricket, a signal that that fire is finally returning? Or was it just a beautiful, fleeting echo of a glorious past? The answer is going to define the next chapter of this incredible story.